What's up, guys and gals? My name is Splattercat, and we are here at the Nerd Castle again today playing Mount & Blade Warband. In the last episode, we had beat up some Vaegirs, guys. Nothing too out of the ordinary there. That seems to be how we spend most of our time in this game, is just beating the hell out of people. But we had also met up finally with Ghoulie, and we're going to decide to follow him around over the next little bit and see if we can't get ourselves into trouble. So let me see if I can click him. I can accomplish this. Rotation, go! There it is. Alright, and so now that we're following him around, I'm just going to hit a company, and from there, we're just going to sit tight and hope that our lands don't get raided. If they do, then I am going to break away from him and see if I can go assist the war effort in that regard. However, one of the strange things that I've noticed is that back when I remember playing this game a long time ago, I felt like once you became a lord, they didn't call you into the campaigns anymore. Or at least they did, but it was optional whether or not you wanted to show up. And I think it's still optional. I don't think we've been losing reputation or anything each time I haven't showed up. Not with the kingdom anyways, but I do feel like he likes me a lot less if I don't. And that's just one of those things I don't remember. I always thought it was optional once you became a lord. Doesn't appear to be the case. It looks like we're going to ride out here to help with whatever's occurring. Let's see if we can assist Fudrime very rapidly, because he's 2 versus 98. What a badass. Oh, never mind. That fight's going the opposite direction. Count Meltor is the badass in this case. I'm not even going to jump in on that because there's really no point. Let's continue following Ghoulie around and see where he takes us. The odd thing right now is that no one else is joining this campaign. Typically, it seems to be a lot of people riding around with the lords for all the other factions, but down here in the Serenade Sultanate, I feel like a lot of the lords just sort of do their own thing all the time. Like, yeah, they should be helping out with the campaign, but they don't. I mean, I suppose riding around just kind of blocking those random advancements that the enemy does is a valuable service in and of itself, but at the same time, I sort of wish that they would be part of a unified front every now and again. I realize I could do this in sort of a makeshift way by grabbing random people and sending them all to the same location through the game's manual motivation system or the manual command system. You can talk to any lord that you want and be like, hey, I have an idea, maybe you should go over here, but you can't guarantee that they'll actually do it. Let me do another man-at-arms here. We've got a few more Serenade guards. We'll move them up to the top of the list with everybody else that's elite. We've got a couple level ups that I haven't handled either. We've got Rolf over here, so I should probably get in there and figure out something for Rolf to do. It appears as though Rolf is going to be our go-to guy when we're doing first aid and wound treatment. I don't see anybody else running that. We've got Artimenor on surgery and whatnot. So let me get on into his skills, and we're going to keep him going with those because those are very valuable skills for the future. Rolf also has surgery, and I find it strange that he's not contributing to the other guy's surgery. Technically, they should have a combined skill of 7, if I recall how this works correctly. A 5 and a 5 makes a 7, but it doesn't have the +2 next to it. I've suspected that maybe our little readout at the top left corner has been bugged for the last little bit, but I can't prove it, so I'm not going to say it. I'm going to go with wound treatment, I think, just to get people back into the fight a lot quicker. If you're going into a campaign where you've got sustained fighting over long periods of time, you'll often find yourselves depleted as time goes along. So you'll lose a guy here, you'll lose a guy there, and then the next thing you know, you're up against like 100 versus 40, even though your force size is 100. It should be 100 versus 100, but because you've got so many wounded that aren't getting back into the fight, you end up being totally steamrolled over. As for now, what do I want him to do? Well, we'll keep doing one-handed weapons, even though 3 points isn't going to make a huge difference in his swing speed or anything of that nature. We're still going to try. We're still going to try. Now then, wound treatment is up at 4. That means we're going to regenerate health a lot more rapidly after battles. That's going to be really, really nice for both us and our named units. I don't know how it works for all of these little guys in here. I can only assume that it does help them out somehow. And let's continue riding along. I feel like we need like a travel montage right now, like a little bong dicka bong dicka bong dicka bong dicka, like a kind of a ridiculous sounding like trucker music thing going on. I also think I don't have the music turned on. Hold on, I've never done this in an episode before. Would you believe that? Aha, I turned down the music because I was getting my Pandora on while I was playing some mods. That's why the background has been so quiet. I noticed that over the last episode or two. I was like, I feel like the game is really, really quiet right now, and I can't figure out why. I turned off the music. That's what did it. And so now I've broken my #1 rule, which is never open a menu in the middle of an LP. I've done it. I can't go back. I've sullied my reputation, I suppose. It is deeply, deeply sullied, although no worse than it would be given my personal habits. But let's continue following Ghoulie. Where are we going, man? Are we going anywhere useful? I really would like to knock over a city. Ghoulie wants us to help him with something, and I'm going to do it because the last time I didn't help him, he didn't accomplish anything in his campaign. He just sort of gave up. He wants us to scout Kaliut, Ain Aswadi, and Jamish. It sounds like they're going after Shariz. So we need Jamish. And what was it? Qualiute. That's the one that I was missing. Okay. I couldn't remember what the third one was. Oh, he canceled it. And he also canceled... Alright, well, he canceled the campaign too. I don't know why our lords are so ineffectual lately. They just can't get anything done, and I can't do anything by myself either. I wish I could get 3 or 4 people together to take Cherise, because I know we could take it. They've got a big force here, but I bet we could bust through if we really tried with like 500 men or so. Disappointing to say the least. Our hired Blads are ready to go. Another sharpshooter back into the action. 15 sharpshooters. I'm pretty happy about this force right here. If I had to give you like a 1 to 10, I'm at like an 8 right now with our force composition. I like it. I would prefer to just run nothing but, you know, I don't like cavalry because I don't use them right. I'm terrible at this game. But I do like to run just like infantry and archers. So sharpshooters and huskarls. And I just like to see what happens when I run those in. Let's make a cut into the middle of Rodok's. Oh, we're out of food. Let's go to Halmar and handle that then. I didn't realize we were going to run out of food so rapidly. That's disappointing. People eating too much. Gotta tell all these guys to simmer down. Stop eating so much food. Oh, our warhorse did heal. I knew that was how it worked. I knew that was how it was gonna work. Alright, our warhorse is back up and ready. I just sold the plate boots that I've been saying I'm gonna equip on people for like the last 9 episodes. There we go. We made a little bit of money. The goody merchant. Let's get ourselves some grain. We'll get ourselves some bread. We'll get ourselves a cheese, just to say that we did. And let's put those boots on somebody before I forget again. I bet Matheld would like those boots. 22, yeah, let's give her some shiny new boots. And so now she's rocking them just like we are. Now, ours are rusty, hers are cracked, but at the same time, they've got a better armor class than anything else that we've been wielding lately, so that'll work out in our favor. Let's head on out and maybe raid some of these outlying villages that we've been raiding already and see what comes down the pipe. It's one of those situations where you create a big issue for the enemy and just hope somebody shows up to fight you. We'll see what happens. Let's beat up this caravan, too. I'm not going to set up any formations. We're just going to go straight at him. It's 26 guys against like 110 of ours. It should be more than okay. This should be pretty much an assured victory. I don't see anything going wrong unless they decide to come out with like laser cannons or something. Gets all Gears of War up in here. They're rolling around with like weird chain grenades, firing lancers at us. And we should be like, oh my god, this is not the type of lancer that I expected. And my horse just got shanked early on into the fight. Lots of blocking going on right now. I wish people weren't blocking. Let me hit you in the face. Like, I understand your trepidation with being hit in the face, but it's not so bad, I promise. You're not even like a real person. You're just like a little digital character running around. Nothing happens to you when you die. That would be kind of a bitch if it was like Reboot, though, and something terrible happens every single time I win. You know what I never... Hold on. Hold on. You know what I never understood? There used to be a show called Reboot, and it was CGI, and I was the only person out of all of my friends that I knew that watched it when I was a kid. It was like one of my favorite shows. I got up super early on Saturday just to watch it, that and Beast Wars, but Beast Wars was legit. I have the Beast Wars box set right now, and I still watch it as an adult. But anyways, the thing I never understood about Reboot is like, why did it hurt the computer? Because they said that it would beat up the mainframe, or like it would hurt the CPU, or like somehow it damaged the computer whenever the player won. That made absolutely no sense to me. Like, why is it that whenever the player wins a game, the computer like fragments further? I've never understood that. But that was my one gripe with the show. I guess it's a kid's show, so it doesn't have to explain everything. We lost a Mamluk. Damn it. People always making me look dumb. I try to go in for a flawless victory, and they just don't let me have it. I will take your goodies, though. What is that? 26 Rodok Spearmen. I don't feel the need to jump them right now. So many, like, I like how some of the mods allow you to disengage all these ridiculous messages that you get every 2 to 3 seconds. I get tired of seeing them. If this was not 80 sharpshooters right here, I would be all over this thing, but 110 of their units are top tier out of 130, and I just don't see it happening. Let's ride out this way to scout a bit before I hit Jamish again. I know Jamish is always like my go-to location when I raid things, but... Anybody? What do they have? Rodok sharpshooters? I don't understand how Rodox is pumping out so many units. Like, they really do have a ton of top-tier units compared to every other faction. Like, every other faction has, like, 20 to 30 in each army, but somehow, with the Rodox, it's like, well, here's 180 sharpshooters. Like, really? Like, how did you even do that? We're gonna try and solve this one quickly. Let me put everybody on follow for the time being. Oh, and it started them at close quarters. Okay. I'm gonna have my archers hang out right here. We're gonna put our infantry right there, sort of behind that. Yeah, let's actually rotate this a bit further so that we can have a reverse hill defense. I'd like to have that right now because I feel like they're gonna circle around that way. So now, we'll put them right there. And we do have a lot of arrows coming in, so we may suffer some losses just based on bad luck. But if I can get everybody into this crevice, or are they not even going to advance at me? It looks like they're rotating slightly. Let me leave my cavalry here for a second. Oh, we're on the edge of the map. I can't even go any further. Okay. Yeah, they're not advancing, so we're going to have to. In that case, this looks like a job for cavalry and infantry. We have a lot of shock troops and we have a lot of shields, so we should be alright in advancing on their position. They're going to force us to either way. They're kind of pulling that tactic that Rome Total War does, where the enemy sits there until you move and then like mirrors whatever your move is. I always hated that. That was one of the few things about Total War that always bugged me. It is increasingly possible that we're going to take a lot of attrition during this fight. I mean, losing a lot of characters, more than likely going to happen, simply because they've got so many crossbows firing at us. Oh, missed that guy. I wanted him, and I wanted to have him, but he wouldn't let me. The story of my life at the bar. All these guys just block spamming. Try to pick out all these little crossbowmen in the back because they're all just kind of needling my troops, and it makes me upset. I shall not be needled. I will not be a pincushion for you, Rhodox. Though you wish it, I shall not allow it. And from here, it should just be cleanup work. It looks like they're fleeing the field anyways. Typically, whenever somebody says flee the field, it makes me think that like fleas are falling off of you and inhabiting the field on which you drop them, which for a Nordic army might not be too far from the truth. We do have a lot of beards, and we have a lot of hair in which fleas could hide, so keep that in mind. But that guy's got an axe sticking out of his collision right there. Or his hitbox. It wasn't actually in him, it was just floating in the air. A ghostly axe inflicting ghostly damage. We only took kills on that first charge, which is what we really had to dedicate to there. We got 10 morale for the battle, and we've killed off everybody. I don't think we have to do a round 2. 92v1, really? Alright, if you're gonna force me. His one archer's just like, oh shit! Worst day ever. He's going down firing like a badass, though. If I could, I would recruit this guy just for standing his ground. There we go. We've taken Count Mary here now. Ah, and we took Rymusk. Good, we've captured a large portion of their forces. I shall take it. Do they have anybody in here who is elite? Veteran archer and the veteran crossbowman are about as far as we're going to get down the elite line. Let's do a little loop around and see who else we can get while we're down here. We've got a little bit of food left, and I think we can outrun a lot of these guys. Let's see if we can run down Trimbow. I feel like I have single-handedly won this campaign. I think it's 42 versus something right now. I'm not seeing a whole lot of reasons to set up lines unless they refuse to advance. Or, I'm sorry, unless they're advancing with a ton of cavalry or anything. Like 42 cavalry can do damage to a force of 102 infantrymen, no problem. But if it's just infantry, 42 infantry is not going to do a whole lot against a force of 102 randoms. Let's get our shield up for now. Survey the carnage for a moment. And carnage indeed. I am going to signal the advance. Yep, that's the force that I would like to do. I would like to enact a force upon their frontal front. God, ran out of words there for a second. Enforcing a force on their frontal front. My vocabulary has officially fallen out my ass. Let's go back around, and this should be over before we can even make a second pass. They're being consumed like a delicious cheesecake. And I don't even like cheesecake, so I don't even like a delicious carrot cake with the raisins in it. Yeah, that's even better. Anybody else? Nay, indeed. We managed to take the field pretty rapidly. I like those quick-fire battles where we get something done really, really rapidly and we don't have to sit around forever. We also did it with relatively little casualties, or relatively few casualties. We'll take all of those right there. And that pretty much fills up our docket of prisoners. Now that we're full up on guys in chains, let's head on back to our own territory. We've got to fill up on food anyways. So let's make some cash. We've pretty much ended this campaign all on our own. Unless the king rolls out, they have nobody else with any troops waiting for us. They're all just hiding in Jelkala at this point. 1,000 dinars made right there. I'm happy with that. How's Peshmi been doing lately? Is it still destitute? It's struggling, so it's moved up a little bit. It's gone from very poor to poor. We could help out a tad, but whatever. Let's go to the tavern and see if we can't find ourselves a ransom broker. As always, we do this dance at least once per episode where we've got a full crew of people riding along behind us with ropes around their wrists, and unfortunately, getting rid of them could be nasty. I wish you could hire somebody. Like, I would pay somebody like 50 dinars a month just to follow me around and just act as sort of a broker for hire, keep him on retainer maybe. I want mercenary horsemen because I feel like I have enough of those right now. I know that I said I was going to hire more mercenaries, but kind of backing off that proclamation as time goes along. We really just need infantry. Ah, there's a ransom broker. So we should luck out with respect to the fact that a lot of these troops are worth a bit more. I could start stockpiling them in one of my castles so that I could do those quests where you ask for a prisoner exchange, but not now. We'll throw Turagor and Marigir back into, oh, I don't know, we'll put them in Uhun, I guess. And so there it is. We've given them over to our garrison here, so they should be a little bit better guarded for the future. If they end up escaping from here, they've earned it. That kind of reminds me, like, there was a couple times when I was doing like stuff with a band where we would play shows in San Francisco or like Los Angeles, and I remember one of the shows required us to like be in the projects in San Francisco, and I noticed that there were like bars on like the 14th story window, and I was like, wow, they must be robbing people like Spider-Man out here. Like, how are you gonna put bars on a 14th story window? Does somebody actually climb in through like the 14th or 15th story window and rob you? I'm gonna be completely and totally frank instead of being Splattercat for now, and I'm gonna say that if he climbs through a 15th story window to steal my stuff, he's earned it. He can just have it, whatever. Like, I don't even care that much. My only stipulation is you can't use the front door. You've got to climb down from the 15th floor with whatever you stole. But beyond that, I was like, damn, it's got to be just like crazy out here. 15th story window with some bars on it. Let's take all of those right there. And I'm going to get rid of the hunter because I don't see any reason to keep it with us. We'll grab some more grain. I'm disappointed with the food that's down here. I really need to keep a different amount of, or differing types of food with us because our morale has been very, very low lately. And that's due to the fact that we've got such a large force with us. And as your force gets larger and larger and larger, it drains off your morale and becomes harder to maintain. It's weird. I don't know exactly how it works. I've never heard of enormous armies having morale problems, but most games seem to make it work like that. So I assume it's validated in some respect. I guess logistically it would be hard to keep morale higher. But what do I know about anything military? Absolutely nothing, and so I'm not going to offer my opinion too deeply on the matter. It looks like we've got a bunch of warriors that are ready to become veterans. A couple more sharpshooters ready to go too. We can't go wrong with that. Another Mamluk to replace the one that we lost. Okay, cool. Now then, what do I want to do? Let's take a minute. I'm going to recruit from Peshmi and see if I can't get them up to tier 2, and we're going to start reinforcing some of our castles with like the 32-man armies that we raised from Peshmi, just low-tier units. 6 Kyrgyz tribesmen. That is not what I asked for, but we will take them. I was hoping we would get like one of those random 32 pulls. We just sold, I did that on accident, I was clicking where I wanted to go, and we sold one of our lords for 2,000 dinars. That's fine. We're at 35,000 dinars, getting richer and richer by the day. Pretty soon we're going to get ourselves an awesome bling chain. It's going to be a horsey head on like a little spindle, and we're going to be able to rotate it, and the horse's eyes are going to be like glowing diamonds. I don't know if they have those in Calradia, but we're going to keep it legit. We're going to put spinners on our horses. We're going to have all kinds of cool stuff. The barding is just going to rotate. We're going to put whistle tips on the horses. Well, never mind. There is some place we could put a whistle tip on a horse, but I don't think it would acquire that much. Well, the DBs would probably be pretty low on that one. It'd still be humorous, though. It'd be funny as hell. We've got a couple upgrades to do because we've been riding around doing our training. We're going to turn them into skirmishers. We're going to keep them as cavalry archers since I feel like they've been doing okay. They're forcing me to eat my words with both a fork, spoon, and maybe some chopsticks, so... Oh, there's a victim down here that I see. Who are you? King Gravith. So 432. He's only got 75 elite units. And if they're interspersed throughout the rest of his force, I bet we could take him. If you can capture a king, you can get a lot of money. I think I've gotten 10,000 dinars for a king before. Jamish looks like it went to Sultan Hakim. When did we take Jamish? Oh, we took it right over there. Okay. A little bit of extra yellow along the side of the kingdom. We really, really need to take this over here, though. And we need to take this stuff back from Vaegirs, too. I don't feel like we accomplished anything during that campaign. Let me swing through some of these locations and figure out if it's going to be possible for me to ninja some of these outside of the Breath of War. The Master Archers are a problem. He's got a lot of high tier in there, 150 plus high tier troops. Nothing to scoff at. And I'm a scoffer, so, you know, I enjoy the scoffing a little bit too much, but there's nothing for me. I would come out more as a mumble at this point. Jamish, she's having a feast to celebrate the fact that we took one castle from somebody that's robbed us of a huge amount of our ancestral lands. I hate the king. The king is a fattened ass, waiting to be slaughtered. Do people slaughter donkeys and eat them? I don't think they do. I feel like my proclamation is lame. Hey, Borcha, what's up, buddy? Oh, we haven't had it's been a while since somebody in one of these ridiculous flop hats has picked a fight with us.
Clearly some sort of animal.
Let me saber you. And so now we get 50 dinars and a little bit of XP, and we get to take his sword, because that's how it worked back in the old days. If you took somebody out, you got to take their weapon and ride around with it like a badass. But like, yeah, I took this from Steve. Steve thought he could hold on to this sword, but you know what? Steve picked the wrong fight, so it is what it is. I'm going to hire these mercenary swordsmen. Oh, maybe not. Ew. Well, then I'm going to go down and I'm going to fire everybody that I just hired so that I could take those guys. And goodbye, Kyrgyz. And I suppose we'll say goodbye to one of these infantry too, so that we can have Borcha back. So we've gotten ourselves 7 more mercenary swordsmen now, and you won't be displeased when you do hired blades and mercenary swordsmen. They tend to do really, really well. I know you guys have been bothering. Oh, that filled up. I miscounted. I kick you. Anyways, I miscounted. So what we want to do now is maybe get rid of anybody who's low tiered. So we have a couple trained footmen. We can get rid of one of them since Borcha, I think, was one of our footmen anyways. And there we are. So Borcha's back. Hooray! Need to put him back up with my mainline force. He'll go hang out with Rolf. And what did Borcha do? He just tracked things for us? That's cool. We need somebody to track anyways. All of those party skills need to be filled in one way or another, so... Oh, we're in Dirham. We need to get some food of differing varieties here. Get some sausages. Refill on bread, maybe. They have a lot of tools in Dirham, and I was thinking about moving them around. And no, people of Dirham, I was not trying to make fun of you. Oh, good. Count Lara Quinn. Let's get back down here and see if we can't make it in time. Since he's being an asshole. There he is right there. He made eye contact, and that's how you know it's over. And I am going to chase him down. Simply because I'm a vengeful person. I don't like it when people attack Peshmi. Peshmi takes a lot of shit from the Kingdom of Rhodox, and I can't help but feel like I owe it to them because I'm collecting their taxes, right? So I've got to do some sort of duty in order to earn the fact that they're out there, like, harvesting my turnips and brewing my beer and doing all those little menial jobs that peasants tend to do. While I'm out here riding, being a badass, shining like the sun. So let's get some revenge. Let's be fickle. I can't get that to position where I want it to, and it's disappointing me. Cavalry, away with you. Roll out. Get out of the way of the archers, you imbeciles. You imbeciles. Oh, I'm carrying a bow. That's not gonna work out for this strategy. Point blank bowing, go! Seems like it was a pretty low tier army. I think he was probably raiding just to make a little bit money so he could raid a better one. Give the infantry the charge command, even though it's a bit late now. And there it is. Our sharpshooters are definitely paying over in dividends. I'm glad that we've decided to recruit them and use them. Sharpshooters are fantastic. I mean, just in terms of the sheer damage and death dealt, sharpshooters cannot be contested with. They're just ridiculous. Take all of that. And I think I missed one of those guys, but it's okay. Well, I was going to swap out my shield. It has a resistance of 5. Well, I know you guys want me to switch my shield out, but I still just haven't seen one that's better, like in terms of like the resistances and everything else. We have some upgrades ready to go, so while I do that, I'll do my spiel for the end of the episode. My name is Splattercat, this is Mountain Blade Warband, and I'm glad you decided to join me here at the Nerd Castle. Hi do to all of you, I look forward to the next episode, and I will see you all there. Take care everybody, and I will see you tomorrow.